early springtime, just before these crappie are moving up into their spawning pattern. And we're here with, you guessed it, Daryl Van Vactor, president of the American Crappie Association, and nobody knows these lakes like Daryl. Daryl's going to show us how to attack these crappie here in this cold water pattern, and I got a feeling we're going to be going real deep for these crappie. So hang on tight. I got a feeling you're going to learn how to go after some of these crappie here in this cold, deep water pattern. Well, just like I promised, guess who's here? Daryl Van Vactor, intergalactic crappie guide that he is. He's fished everywhere, all over the country, but Kentucky Lake is his home lake. And Daryl, what kind of techniques and tactics do you think we're going to be using here on Kentucky Lake today?
Well, Don, I hope you don't mind. I brought along a friend.
Hey, I'm all for company.
My friend is a hummingbird.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm with you.
Actually, who would have thought a couple of years ago in the sonar and locator market that a unit would be developed that we could actually go to a strange body of water if we didn't know where the stumps were here, so to speak, target different spots, find them 150 feet from the boat, lock a GPS point and go to them. Do you think that's possible?
You know, I tell you what, knowing Daryl, if Daryl says it's possible, it is possible. Daryl, do you think you could show a novice like me how to use something like that?
I can. They're very user-friendly, and we'll just take it out here, put it through its paces, and show you just how to do what I just said.
Let's do it, man. All right.
This little pocket right here has a deep creek bank, and we're going to go down the edge of that bank. You can see the strip widening out. That means we're dropping into deeper water. This is what our sonar portion of the transducer is reading. This is the side imaging part on both sides.
Okay.
I've only have it set for 79 feet each side right now. We can go up to 400.
Wow, man.
But what we're doing is looking for structure that would hold fish. If we find that structure, we're going to freeze the screen, actually set a GPS point on that structure, even though it's away from the boat, and then get the unit to take us back to it.
So you don't even have to be right over the point?
Not at all. Not at all. You can pull into a bay that's not over 400 feet wide, go down the middle, read everything.
Image everything. Wow.
Amazing.
And this white area is shallower, right? So
that's right. This is shallow point coming out. You can see it getting narrower here.
Yeah, okay.
We're actually coming up. Look here.
Oh, look.
And look at this.
Treetops or something.
Treetops.
Yeah.
All right, let's just get a bearing on that right there. We freeze the screen. All you have to do is push in on the button here. Now it gives us a live cursor. The cursor will move right over to what we have marked.
Wow.
Let's get you can see a porcupine right there.
Yeah.
See how they mark?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to get right in there. And we're going to tell it to mark that spot.
I'll be there.
It has saved that as waypoint number 12.
And is it true that it's also taken a picture we could save?
It took a snapshot of that, yes.
Wow.
It did.
And everything's on that snapshot, the depth,
That's exactly
everything.
right.
Amazing.
Now let's go back to it. We'll switch over to our map screen, and of course you can set what you like on the hotkeys. There are actually about 10 or 12 different screens available. But you can see it has logged our track, even though we weren't actively navigating to a waypoint, but it still logged our track right here.
Right.
In the blue.
Oh, a little camera symbol.
There's our snapshot that we just took. What we're going to try to do is go right back to that snapshot.
Amazing.
Very easy way of navigating to a waypoint, because you actually don't have to tell it to navigate to a point, pick a point, stop navigation, and all that.
Wow.
This is all we have to do. Set our boat icon over our camera icon.
And we're there. Man, even though it was off to the side of the boat.
Exactly, exactly. We're going to get turned and go right straight to it.
Amazing. And still, with this big screen, we got a big enough screen to be able to navigate and see what's going on down below.
This is our sonar.
Right back to the waypoint.
Now watch what happens.
Right over.
Now this is where it said there was structure. Is there?
There it is.
There's your structure. How much easier can it get?
Wow.
There's only one thing it won't do. All the fish that it's showing us, you see the little arches around that structure.
Yeah.
It won't tell us if they're hungry or not, Don.
Gee, man.
Hummingbirds gonna have to get with it, aren't they?
Well, I guess that's the next upgrade, huh?
That's the next one.
Amazing technology.
It's wonderful, and the unit is very user-friendly. Hey, if you're not catching fish, set it on the dash and hide behind it out of the wind.
Yeah,
Big enough.
yeah, it is definitely big enough. Amazing.
But that's the way it works. That limb and
came across the
instantly
limb.
that fish hit.
Gee, man,
Come here.
as soon as it fell off.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Boy, the AT&T with his ego, man. Gee, man, Don't worry, buddy, we got you.
Right in the top of the lip that time.
All right, let me do my homework now. Let me count my spines.
Yep.
1, 2,
another black
3,
crappie.
4, 5, 6, 7. Boy, just Daryl knows just by looking at me. I got to be counting spines and stuff, but you know, nice little scrappy guy. Seems like they're really feeding good, you know?
Really are. That one hit hard. He's just about a 10.5 inch crappie, but he really hit hard.
Got that little forked tail going. We'll see, buddy. Off he goes. I can get used to this, you know? That was a good fish, Daryl. Good fish. There's so many limbs down there. Every time you feel like you're gonna,
It is.
you know.
It's really thick. This brush pile's really thick. You just have to pick your way across the top of those limbs, and it seems like you'll touch a limb, pull it off, and that's when you'll get the hit. They're holding really tight to the cover. There you go.
Oh.
Down here.
Come
Oh,
on,
that
stay
one
on,
got a
stay
long
on,
handle
stay
net.
on, stay on. All right, all right.
Good fish, Dodd.
Another dark one, man. We're getting into all these dark ones now.
We've hit a
hang on.
little group of black crappie, it looks like. Another nice black.
There we go. Now this one, I'm just gonna venture, I wouldn't even have to count him. Of course, he's holding them up there nice for us. Nice stocky little fish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of course, man. Daryl's got that long distance identification down. But now, I notice his tail's kind of all messed up now. Is he preparing for,
Yes, what they're doing, there's a few of the fish. We had some warm days last week, and a few of the fish started running toward the banks, and they'll start making the nest. The male actually goes in and makes the nest, and with the black species, they go to the bank and spawn actually in a cooler water than the white species.
Oh.
At 54, 55 degrees on Kentucky Lake, you can expect the black crappie to be spawning versus the white crappie, which won't spawn until the water temperature reaches 58, 60 degrees.
Oh, okay. So these are the first ones in, and
That
he's
one's been
already,
working a nest a little bit.
yeah, he's already got kind of sore on his tail, and looks like he's been working it. We'll see if he won't just swim right off cooperatively. What do you think?
I think he'll be
There he
back
goes.
in the water. And then we're going to go across that one, look it over. Let's take a couple of moments and talk about the tackle that Don and I will be using on Kentucky Lake in this cold water, deep pattern. First of all, the rod and reel that we're using. This particular rod is an 8-foot B&M graphite. And remember, when you're dependent on feeling that real light touch, you want a good IM6 or IM7 graphite rod or pole. My pole of choice is a B&M, the 8-foot Ultimate, solid graphite. Rig it with a reel that will complement the rig, balance the rig. A size 20, this particular reel is an Eagle Claw Gunnison series, great little reel for the combo. Then the line we're using is 6-pound line. I like clear personally. This line is vicious line. It just has a little slicker finish on it. seems like you don't get the tangles, you don't get the twist with Vicious that I did with some of the lines I've used previously. Jig that we'll be starting with is the Southern Pro umbrella size. The umbrella size is actually a 2-inch tube in a variety of colors that we'll cover in a moment. That's rigged on a 1/4 ounce jig head. One thing to remember, before you drop that jig in the water, pull the line toward the point of the hook. It'll allow the jig to hang horizontal and mimic that bait fish that the large crappie are feeding on. Another thing to remember, in cold water conditions, it's very important to have some type of scent on your bait. I'm not an advocate of scent in warmer water, but in cold water, we're dealing with 48, 49-degree water here in wintertime fishing. You definitely want a little scent on there. I'll show you what I use. Several good products on the market. I just take a couple of the Eagle Claw Nitro gems, put them right up in that tube. Push them right in. They stay really nice. They don't change the way the bait hangs on the line. It'll do a good job for you. Now let's talk about the color of jigs. I have more questions on that than anything probably. Rule of thumb there is try to match the jig color to the conditions you're fishing. If it's bright light conditions, stay with your whites, white silver. Blue white's popular here in clear water conditions. Darker water conditions, use a darker bait. The new Minitube is good for that. In the dark gray, in the smoke pattern here, black and chartreuse is good in darker conditions. Then as the water clears up, or as you get more light in the sky, I switch to the other chartreuse patterns, red and chartreuse, orange and chartreuse. So have a good assortment of colors in the boat, and you can't go wrong. And just remember, the rule of thumb is the darker the water and the conditions, the darker the bait. Okay, there he is.
All right.
First one of the morning.
Black. Or is that a white?
Nice crappie, that's white crappie.
All right. Got a gut on it, huh?
Yeah, she's gonna spawn a little bit later, isn't she?
That's a pretty way to start the day.
Yeah, that's the way it ought to be. Well, Don, actually there's several things that our tournament anglers have found over the years that help them keep the fish alive. And of course, Crappie USA tournaments are all catch and release. If the fish are not alive at a Crappie USA tournament, they're not even weighed. So they have to be alive and released back to the waters from where they came. We all know that crappie is a table fish. It's a very prolific fish. So normal sport fishing tactics do not damage a crappie population. But we always want to be receptive to the idea of our children and grandchildren being able to go out and do as well as we do and have as much fun as we do, targeting crappie as their favorite species as well. A few things have been developed in the past few years that have helped them along the way. Creek Bank has developed a minnow bucket, a 500-gallon-per-hour pump filter system inside the bucket that really helps keep the fish alive and the bait as well. Keep Alive company has developed systems for keeping those fish alive in the huge tanks as well. But probably my personal favorite, we all know that handling that fish is what really makes a difference. The more you handle it, the less opportunity that fish may have to go back into the wild and survive. Ego Net Company actually developed a net strictly for crappie anglers about 3 years ago now. It's called the Ego Reach Net. It has a rubber lining, doesn't take the slime off that fish when you get him in it. And from the angler standpoint, it's very hook friendly. You can't hardly hang a hook in that rubber lining. And yet, for the benefit of those long 14 and 16 foot B&M poles that have been developed, it'll reach out there to a distance of 9.5 feet. Well, that weighs less than 2 pounds total. So a fantastic product that was developed strictly for the crappie anglers by Ego Nets. We're very, very proud of that product. But the main thing the guys can do, make sure you get the fish back into your live well or into an aerated cooler system or tank system as quickly as you can. Don't keep them out any extended period of time taking pictures. Get them back in the lake where you can have fun catching them again.
You know, when you visit Kentucky Lake, I can't speak highly enough about Ken Lake Resort State Park. You know, everything for the entire family to see and do, whether it's camping facilities, cabins, and they even have a hotel type lodging facility as well. Swimming pool, you guessed it, probably movie stars too. Marina right there, right there at the location. Gift shops, everything you'd want to see and do is right here for you at Ken Lake Resort State Park. You need to make a reservation
Water in
quick.
close. Helps us in these windy situations.
Yeah, yeah. Get right out of the wind, but still be in that deep water that they tend to like today. But you say probably towards afternoon, after the sun's been out a while and things heated up, they tend to kind of move in a little bit?
They do. They'll get closer to the banks. In the pre-spawn situation, they're eager to get to the banks, but they're not going to do so until that temperature is right for them and the water is either steady or on a gentle rise.
Okay.
If the water's falling quickly, that tends to hold them out. But if it's on a gentle rise or if it's stable, then late afternoons when the water warms in the shallows and against the bank areas, they like to get up there and nose around.
All right.
There he is. I believe that's a crappie.
Well, you're right in that structure
Right now,
too.
I believe that.
Oh, nice one, nice
That's
one.
not a bad fish.
Nice one.
Girl.
And you've been right in the structure.
That was right down in the thick of it, actually.
Nice. Another female, huh?
Another female. Those females seem to be laying out here just waiting. They know it's not time to go into the banks yet.
Staging.
Good fish.
Good. You know, every popular game species has that national organization that you can turn to for information and tips and tactics to make you a better fisherman for that species, and crappie is no different. You know, for years I've been a member of the American Crappie Association, and as a treat, since we're fishing with Daryl, Daryl's gonna let you know some of the benefits that you can enjoy by becoming a member. Daryl, why don't you fill them in?
Don, I'd be happy to. You know, the American Crappie Association is now 12 years old, and we've added a lot of benefits for our members in the last 12 years. Some of the newer ones with our prescription drug plan discounts for all members of the American Crappie Association, our discounted insurance programs for boat insurance or yacht, if you care, are just two of the new features. Of course, we still publish Outdoor Journal magazine quarterly for our members that's action-packed and filled with tips and techniques to make you a better crappie angler on your home body of water. Join us at the American Crappie Association by going to the web at www.crappieusa.com or give us a call at 270-395-4204. You'll be glad you did.
What range?
Normally the male white crappie will move in first. They'll move in about 54. Then they'll make the nest. They just fan out a nest with their tail, get ready for the females to come in and lay the eggs. When the water temperature reaches 58, the females will move into those nests, lay the eggs. Then the males fertilize the eggs and run the females back off the nest. And the males actually guard the nest. A lot of people don't realize, but the female white crappie will actually eat the fry when they're hatched. So the males have to run them out. They stay with the eggs until they're hatched, and about 5 days afterwards, and protect them from predation, from the females coming back and so forth, and then they'll leave and go to deeper water.
Will the females, after they've laid the eggs and moved back out into the deeper water, will they feed then, or do they have a period where they kind of hold off?
They're pretty slow right then. They will feed, but it's sporadic. They'll feed just a little while each day. They don't feed aggressively. It's much like the bite that we've noticed today, where it's just a real minute hit. But they will feed a little bit. And what they do, the crappie use the creeks, just like we're fishing now. We're fishing the edge of a deep creek. They use creeks the same way that we use highways. They'll use the creeks to migrate into the bays. They'll use the same creeks to migrate out of the bays after the spawn. So all you really have to do to target them is find those main feeder creeks coming off of a lake. Many times that creek may not be 2 feet deep. You have to look at it this way. A crappie is only this tall.
Right.
So a 2-foot indenture to him is a major change.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so they'll go in and out on those creeks. You run the edges of the creeks, many areas that allow you to put structure in the lake, like we put the porcupines in here. You target those creek areas, put that structure up on the edge of the creeks for them to have something to stop and feed in or to hide from predation in as they migrate in or out of the bays.
I think this is probably a good time for me to put a nice graphic up on the screen. This is the porcupine. And Daryl's been talking about this, and this is a artificial piece of structure that's used quite a bit, isn't it, Daryl?
Oh, it is. It's the most popular piece of structure on this lake.
And the algae forms on the actual porcupine. You weight that down in current type situations, but normally you don't have to, right?
Right. If you're putting the porcupines into still water conditions in the back of the bays or in smaller lakes or ponds, then you don't even have to weight it. We put a brick on there. We take a piece of aluminum wire and a brick and attach that, toss it over, lock you a GPS point on it. You've got a place to fish forever because
Wow.
it's not going anywhere.
Getting bumped. There we go.
Another fish?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. There we go. He's a dark one.
Good job. Hey, that's black crappie.
A black one, all
We were
right.
talking about that earlier.
We can get to see the
Morning.
difference now.
Yeah, now you can tell the difference. There you go, Don. Good job. Little added attraction on the jig, I see.
Yeah.
Tried to be quiet back there.
Yeah, trying to sneak it in on you.
That's the black crappie we were talking about earlier this morning. If you can see it, he's holding his dorsal fin up there nice for us now. On a black crappie, the dorsal fin has either 7 or 8 dorsal spines. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7,
On that
okay.
one. 7 sharp spines on the front of the fin. That's how you can be sure. The other way, notice we don't have the vertical bars that we had on the black, or the male white crappie that was black earlier.
Right.
It's all just blotches of black spots. That's a black crappie.
Cool, cool.
Nice fish.
Sure is, man. I'm getting used to this now. Getting me spoiled on this good
gone.
spot. What we got here, Daryl?
Okay, Don. See those 2 spots right there?
Look like pallets
Those
or
are
something.
pallets.
Yeah,
That's what they are.
That's just what it looks
2
like.
pallets with stakes that come up on them. Let me freeze the screen where you can look at it a minute. But they're
Wow.
right there. Now what I've done previously, I've moved the cursor to the first one and locked a waypoint on it.
Okay.
So all we have to do is switch to another screen.
There it is.
2 pallets, that's the waypoint that was marked on.
Wow. And even name it to where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow,
That way I
man.
can remember what it was.
Yeah. And they've got stakes driven straight up through them.
That's right.
It gives them
That's right.
some structure in there.
Makes a really nice set. I'll show it to you at a different angle here. Now that's just them going off the screen now. We're
Right.
back to where that one stopped. Now we're going to go by them again.
Could you see fish on them, or hard to
Didn't
tell?
notice, to be honest with you, when we went by. Let's just get a good look at them and see if there's anything holding on them.
Well, every little rock you can see on there.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of bait fish you can see in the sonar portion of the screen here. Now there comes our
There
2
they
pallets again.
Looks like some white stuff above them. White dots.
There may be a few fish on them. Want to give them a try?
Oh yeah, man,
see
I'm
what's
all
there.
over it. Big time. Yeah. That's something, man. Looks just like 2 pallets.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Okay. Whoop. Wow.
Fish
That one didn't
already.
take long.
Just got set up on the new spot. Oh, nice.
that's a
Oh,
decent
big
fish.
fish. Big
Decent
fish.
fish.
Wow. Nice fish, Daryl. Man. Putting out the hog collar.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Barely fits in the net. Man.
Another good one.
Sweet. Wow. That girl looks like she is packed.
She is ready to spawn.
Beautiful.
Wow. What we're doing there, Don, actually, this is a major creek right off of the main stem of Kentucky Lake. and we're working our way back, that main creek channel. They seem to be right up on the edge of the creek, but when they're not feeding, they'll drop down. You can still pick up a fish or two when they drop down into the bottom area there. They're just slower, they bite easy, they're not really in a feeding pattern. When they get ready to feed, they're gonna move up, move into that structure, and start feeding. But we're gonna try the top of the ridge, which is about 28 feet, all the way down to 32 feet of water. That's deep fishing for crappie, but it's working.
It sure is, man.
Let's see if we get another one.
Beautiful fish. Boy, that was about as subtle a bite. Just like you said, Daryl.
Yeah, it seems like when, you know, these conditions are like this, they just get nervous.
He just barely sucked it in. I mean, you know, I felt just the slightest little, and that's a nice one. Look at that.
Fish. Oh, there's a good fish.
Nice fish. Wow. A dandy. And just barely.
Water fish.
Wow, that's a big fish, Daryl. One of my biggest ones. Look at the size of this thing. What is this, a bass?
2 pound 3/4, 2 pound fish.
Wow.
That's great.
Unbelievable. You know, Daryl's got us out here at this deep water jigging, man. You know, take it to the fish in this late winter pattern. You know, spring's almost here. And I'm gonna tell you what, this is one of my biggest crappies ever, and Daryl's got us on the money. You know, beautiful, beautiful fish. And I tell you what, this is one of these fish I just gotta take a picture of later. So he's gonna go in the live well just for now, but I will be putting him back and I'll even show you.
Good job, Don. You know, Don, when it comes to poles, B&M has sort of revolutionized the crappie market. I can remember back in the early years when we had cane poles and we had the old fiberglass poles. And thankfully, our tournament anglers have wanted different things in the market, and B&M has responded. And now they offer poles from the 7-foot ultimate on up to a 16-foot 3-piece trolling pole. And I really thought when I heard that they were coming out with the 14 and the 16-foot poles, it'd be something that would be awfully hard to manage. They're really not. They're light, they're graphite, and you know, sitting out here like we are, 32 feet of water, still being able to feel an 1/8 ounce jig all the way down on the bottom and feel the hit transmitted through it, it takes a good pole. So I'm really proud of Jack and the guys at B&M for the job that they've done in developing poles over the years. They came out with this Ultimate series. Sam Heaton was actually the guy that signatured this series. And it's been a hit for them, and now they're offering it in several different lengths from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're hitting every length nearly. So doing a fantastic job, and I'm just glad that the crappie angler has been able to have better equipment built for them over the years thanks to companies like B&M.
And some of these record tournaments that you've had have definitely showed that upgrade in equipment, I'm sure.
Yeah. B&M are nearly exclusive at our tournaments. The anglers, in fact, a lot of our anglers have been instrumental in working with B&M to develop just the type of equipment they've been able to do over the years.
And it's working for us today.
It sure is.
Okay. I just had a bump, Daryl.
Did you?
Yeah.
We're in an awful good spot. There's one too.
Ooh. Oh, you got him?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, let me get it.
A little wilder.
Let me get a net there. There we go.
Oh,
Well, that's a dark
crappie.
one. That's a dark one.
Yeah, he's getting his spawning colors already.
Wow. Pretty one.
Thank you. Yeah,
Get it on
nice.
that green, huh?
Nice white male crappie. You know, Don, many times people will think they're catching black crappie when they catch these, but actually it's easy to tell the difference. The dorsal fin is the easiest way for me. You count the spines on that dorsal fin, and a white crappie will always have either 5 or 6. This one, you can probably tell, that one has 6 spines on the front of the dorsal fin. A black crappie will have either 7 or 8.
Oh.
Now the vertical bars, if you're used to looking at them, you can see those vertical bars running right there.
Yeah.
That also identifies it as a white species. It's just a male fish. And he's getting his spawning colors this time of year. They're just still pre-spawned by about 6 weeks. And so he's getting his spawning colors, but that's a white male crappie.
I'll be there.
Hopefully we'll get a black and we show the difference.
Show the difference, that's right.
All right, let's turn him loose. Didn't take him long to get gone.
Good deal. I think I might have to start tipping them here a little. Up. Got off. Man. They suck it in and they just, you know, spit it out so quick. My goodness. I might tip this one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump in my creek bank bucket here and scoop me out a fresh minnow. Well, these things are lively. Just trying to find them. There we go. Come here, buddy. Don't go swimming off. All right. And then I'll get back down into the action. Seems to me that about 2 feet off the bottom, Daryl was saying get it about 2 feet off the bottom. Seems to me that's where I've been getting all my hits. Let it down a little bit, and then there we go. Let it down, and then another way you could, if you're not in an area full of structure, I'll let it hit the bottom, then I'll give it that 2 turns. That's how Daryl was telling me to do the first time. And then you want to hold it as still as possible and just let that curly tail do its thing. Coming up on this, Daryl's got a little anchor buoy out here, a little marker.
Nice brush pile here.
You definitely finding that structure.
Oh, we've got
You
the
are right in.
structure. We have the structure. But that's what they like.
Yep.
They say as long as a crappie can hide one eyeball, he feels like he's hid.
I was wondering about that because those stake beds don't seem real, you know, it doesn't seem like there's a whole place, you know.
Yeah.
I guess if they can just get behind anything.
Okay. There he was.
Oh.
Not very hard.
Did you have that that scent, that power bait type?
In water temperatures under 55 degrees, I always have a little scent on there.
Okay.
Right now I'm using Nitro Gems, the Eagle Claw Nitro Gem. But, you know, I used to ask folks in seminars and all, Don, if they thought a fish could smell. And there was always somebody in the group that raised their hand and said, oh, no, I don't. I said, well, partner, you go home and put one under the seat of your car for a couple of weeks and let's see if it smells. But actually, in tests done by the University of Illinois Extension Service with Dr. Steve Wonderly, I was a part of those tests back several years ago, we found that a fish, being in an enclosed environment, has a sense of smell equal to about, if you're ready for this, 100 times that of your bird dog at home.
Wow.
They're in an enclosed environment. They have a tremendous sense of smell. Now that's scalefish. Looking at a catfish, for instance, and we're both very into catching big catfish.
Sure.
A catfish has different glands on their body that they can actually smell with, not just nostrils like the other fish. So the sense of smell in a catfish is much stronger than that, but it's amazing. And you know, I think I said earlier, I'm not an advocate of just having to use scent all the time because when the water temperature is warm a little bit, I don't find that it's that helpful. In cold water conditions, it's very helpful.
Wow.
But one thing that I always recommend to my clients and in doing seminars, the morning you're going fishing, what do? You hook up your boat, you stop at the service station, you fill up with gas, right?
Yep.
Now you have gas. Even if you didn't, you have amino acids that's different in everyone, just like fingerprints. Or you put on aftershave after you've shaved that morning.
Yep.
And things like that transmit to that jig. You tie a jig on, you tie the head on, you run that umbrella tube up on the jig head, wham, smells like gasoline. Now, if you were a fish and could smell gasoline, would you hit that jig?
No, no.
So, you know, the smart things that we can do actually make it unnecessary to worry as much about scented product.
Right.
Wash our hands good, use unscented soaps and things like that.
Gas up the night before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's why I fill my boat up when I go in the evening. That way I'm not doing that the next morning and things like that. But keeping those added smells off your hands that can be offensive is the main thing that we can do to help get more bites.
Daryl, I noticed out here that, you know, we've caught some really nice fish, but they don't seem to be just slamming the jig. It seems like they just barely take it in, and if you miss it, they're gone. Is that pretty common for these colder water fish down deep? Okay.
Really, Don, that's right. You know, the pressure with the fronts moving in and out, the difference in the water conditions with us being 8 feet above where it should be for this time of year, all has a way of slowing down the bite. The fish are nervous, so they're not hitting as hard, they're not aggressive. They seem to be just taking the opportunity to knock it out of their way when you hit them right in the nose with it. I think that's why we're only picking up just a scattered fish in some of the structure that should be producing several fish at one time. But all that is conducive to the weather and water patterns.
Okay.
Hey, you know, Don, we're talking about the porcupines, I didn't think, but I have one in my vehicle there at the ramp. When we go in after a while, we'll pick it up and we'll show them just how to put it together, how to put it in the lake, the whole thing.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
Okay, I'm ready.
That is a fish on.
All right. Good one, Don?
There he goes. There he goes. He's a good fish. He's a good fish. All right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Come on, buddy. There we go.
Nice white crappie.
White crappie. Well, if they're not black, they're white. If they're not white, they're black, I guess,
right.
huh? You know? Nice fish. You know, you were asking if he bit good. What I've been seeing is it seems like they'll just barely suck it in, and it actually feels like I'm coming up over a stick or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he barely just sucks it in.
Yeah.
You know? So
It's a real subtle bite in this cold water.
now what we're doing is Daryl's got us in about 30 or so feet of water, 30, 32 feet, and I know that this rod, this particular rod's about 10 feet. So after I put it down in there, I'm kind of just counting down. Each one of these is about 2 feet, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I'm at 20 feet right now. And you can keep counting down and be as far off the bottom as you want, 22, 24, 26. So now I'm just about 4 feet or so off the bottom. And this is how we've been getting, anywhere from 2 to 4 feet up off the bottom. And it seems to be working out pretty good. It's just not one of these bam, 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 bam type events. One of these things where you'll move over and get, I guess, real tight to the structure, Daryl?
They're holding very tight to the structure.
So as you move in real close, it seems like one might dart out, just barely suck it in. And you gotta be right there, man. You gotta be right there and set that hook. But I'm feeling lucky.
We're looking for it right there.
Fish right over it.
Mm-hmm. That's the beginning of that bed. There you are, Don.
There it is. Say when. There we go. Not used to having to reel, Daryl. You get down deep. Go down deep with these things. Oh, nice one.
Ah, thank goodness
Nice.
for a long handle net, buddy.
Man. Man, I tell you what, these egos, you need one of these things. You get out here going
it
after
makes
these.
it so handy.
Oh, and a haul.
Nice fish.
Man, nice fish. You know, every time Daryl stops, I said, keep that ego handy, you know? Having to reach out and grab these big old hogs, I'm gonna say it's a joy though, isn't it? You know, deep water, having to actually reel the fish up instead of lifting them up with, with these long poles like we're used to. You know, what'd you say this one will go, Daryl? 8, 9 pounds? What do you think?
Oh, on Bill Dance's show, he'd weigh 10.
Pretty fish, pretty fish. I got a feeling I'm gonna want to look at you again, so go down here and join your brothers and sisters. Back into the action.
fish moving up shallow. I'm not sure what it was.
Well, I keep getting something here, you know?
Yep.
But it's such a subtle thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep setting it too late.
Probably going to be some smaller fish up here.
There were a lot shallower, seems like here.
We are. I'm pulling us up on top of this little break. You'll feel it getting shallower, and just bring your jig up as we move.
Yeah, got it up.
It's getting late in the afternoon. The sun's down a little bit. I'm going to see if they've moved up a little shallower on this point. It's about, we've got some 17, 18 foot. Miss one?
Yep.
Whoa.
Oh, hold on there. Oh, he's going up. Holy cow, I got him. I got him. Holy cow. Oh,
That fish wasn't
big one,
10 feet
man.
deep.
This is a big
I
fish,
come
man.
right across the limb.
Wow. And I'm gonna venture it's a white because it seems so.
You know, it is a white. I'm surprised she is up there that shallow.
That is a
Oh,
big
yeah,
fish.
that's what we're
Nice
looking for.
fish.
Yeah.
Nice fish.
I'm surprised she is up there that shallow. Fish that size
Man.
shouldn't be. But it's just
Beautiful.
getting later, and with the cloud cover we got, it's getting
Yeah.
a little darker. That's probably what happened.
But I know nobody can give the folks at home better information about Crappie USA and some of the exciting tournaments you got coming up than you can. So why don't you tell them a little bit about some of the great tournaments coming up and some of that regional and even the classic action.
Well, Don, Crappie USA is proud to work in some 21 states annually. We try to bring as many tournaments as possible close to home to our anglers. Our format has always been local, low entry fee, one-day events for the family to be able to participate. We have youth events every Saturday morning while our main tournament is going on, special bonus offerings for male-female teams and adult youth teams to participate, and even $20,000 given annually in college scholarships at the end of the year. So we're very proud of that. But you know, we leave our circuit open for that amateur angler. That's the most important thing with Crappie USA. The semi-pro division has its own payback, compete against one another. But the amateur angler, just the weekend fisherman, has as much opportunity to participate and win in Crappie USA as anyone else. Just this past year at the Cabela's Crappie USA Classic, we had a father-son team from Missouri win the Classic Championship in the amateur division. Fantastic feat. Of course, they enjoyed the new Ranger boat rig and the cash that goes along with it. And the Classic event is still $175,000 in cash and prizes. So hopefully everyone will come out and join us and have a good time catching America's favorite panfish.
You know, I've been seeing that I am getting more hits, just like you said, if I can keep it still.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just let that tail, that rubber tail do the work.
Let the tails on that umbrella tube work. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be any current, wind, or anything to make it work. It'll work in a bathtub.
Yeah.
They're so small on the tails.
A little bit earlier, the current, I mean, just the chop was having us move, and just unconsciously you're moving. I wasn't getting nearly the bites. When I really keep it still, and I try to keep it close to the water to get, I guess, less wind on the line, maybe. But
now, cold water conditions, they're so subtle that you want to keep that bait almost as still as you can, at least.
I guess
It'll
that
have
makes
enough natural movement on its own.
I guess that makes it easier for him to hit too.
Evidently, yeah.
There he is again. There he is. There, got him.
Did you get him?
Got him.
Okay. Another fish up here a little shallower, Don. They are moving up. Up.
Oh, stay on, stay on, stay on.
Oh, let me let him down.
Yep,
I
yep,
hit just
yep.
as you caught that one.
Holy cow. And I'll see if I can't,
Still deep.
do the same thing. Oh, you got him up. You got him up. What?
Both
How many
those were
spikes
black,
you
weren't
got?
they?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, yeah, that's a black. That's a black. He's a cutie. Now
There's the first one you've seen with 8. Remember, I said
8.
7 or 8. This one's 8.
and this one, yep, 7. I'll be darned.
Yeah, there's 8 spines. See the end of it right there? That's the last one.
Now mine, this one, again, it's got the tail's all beat up, and yours a little bit.
Yeah, this one hadn't been working in the shallows like that one has.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be darned.
It's all together. All the rays are together. Those are beginning to split apart a little bit.
Huh,
Back in the water.
I'll be darned.
But you're just beginning to work the nest a little.
Man, I tell you what, man, this wintertime is fun, but woo.
Well, Don, we've got our fish caught and everything, and so I'm going to see if you can tell me what this is. in just a few moments. Matter of fact, I'm going to make a few changes to it, which doesn't take long. A little glue here, a little glue here. Now we're going to start adding pipe. And this is just thin wall, 1/2 inch PVC pipe that we're adding. And when we get this complete, we're going to have the best fish attractor that I know of. And there you go, Don. Looks like a Sputnik, doesn't it? That's actually a 4-foot porcupine fish attractor. They're available up to 5.5 foot is the largest, and you can get them down as far as 2.5 or 3. But basically, 26 pieces of 1/2 inch thin wall PVC in the sphere. We've got a little brick on aluminum wire where it'll never rust. That's all that it needs to anchor it. You see, I've put a marker out right here. I like to set a marker out right on the edge of a ledge or maybe in an area where it's on the creek bank that I want to put some extra structure. And then all that's required, toss it in. Mark your GPS point on it. You've always got some structure to fish. It'll be there forever. That PVC is going to stay. It'll adhere to some plankton and everything on the edges of it. But it's a nice place for the fish to come in and hide until the plankton starts getting on those PVC pipe. So if you put 4 or 5 of those in an area, it makes a great area to come back and fish. Be sure and check, though, with local regulations before putting anything like that in a lake. Here, TVA will give us permission to do so as long as we put it out of navigational waterway. So check your local regulations, and porcupinefishattractor.com is all you need to know.
You know, if you can put up with a little bit of cold weather, I got a feeling that some big crappie will always be there to reward you if you keep in mind some of these great techniques and tactics that Daryl Van Vactor has shared with us here today. And one of the things that I know I'm going to take home with me, Daryl, is the proper equipment. You know, getting out here with these highly sensitive B&M poles, getting out here with the awesome color selections and availability that Southern Pro gives us, and obviously even tipping it a little bit here and there as a little kicker. Daryl, what would you say would be the one thing that you would recommend people do anytime they find themselves fishing in this really cold water? The one tip that you think people should keep in mind when they're out there trying to find a crappie?
Probably the best thing they can do is remember the water's cold, the fish are slow, fish slow. When you slow down some more. And they're going to be very subtle in that cold water situation.
And you know, we've seen that here today. Daryl's big crappie, my big crappie, just barely inhaled it. And Daryl, if I can recall this right, I'm basically in the middle of a quiz here. The crappie kind of flare their gills to bring those jigs in?
They do. They don't hit a bait with the force that we would think from a largemouth bass or another species. What they do, they ease up to the bait, they get their nose up to the bait, open their gills and open their mouth at the same time. When they open the gills, they create a vacuum. That vacuum comes right through their mouth. They actually suck the jig in. They can just as quickly blow that jig out without you knowing they've been there many times.
And I think it happened to me many times a day. Not too often to Daryl. He was kind of out fishing me 20 to 1. But you know, he put me on some beautiful fish here today. And just keeping in mind all these techniques, the way he was working these drop-offs and these creek, along these creek channels and creek miles, really paid off for us here today. Well, for Crappie 101, thanks a lot, Daryl.
Thank you, Don.
Definitely appreciate it. Anytime you can get out here with a professional that's been doing this for decades and really knows his business, it's always a joy. So until next time, for Crappie 101, we'll see you next time out on the water, chasing them slabs.